My brothers, sisters, dear elders, esteemed scholars, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I'm honored to do a small service for Mawlati Ummul Baneen, Salamullah alayha, and I plan to do this by talking over the next 2 nights on a very important topic which I titled The Cause of Our Actions and Life, the way to live it and if we're doing it the right way. And I saw that when talking about this topic, that many of us are trying to navigate through life in a way that feels right to us. But how many of us actually stop and say, you know what, let me ask myself, am I living life the right way? Am I actually living life the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intended me to? Am I reaching my potential? Am I doing the purpose Allah put me on this earth for or not? And are we getting consumed by its distractions and its desires, or are we just following a tide, a trend of the world, never looking left, right, in front of me, behind me? What am I doing? What's the purpose of what I'm doing? And I saw that when I wanted to talk about this topic, it was first a reminder for myself. You know, I'm still young, I still have many opportunities to take, and I don't know, is this what Allah wants me to do, or is this something that Allah wouldn't be proud of me doing? So then, I thought, okay, how do I speak about this topic? I saw that I first have to distinguish the difference between a Muslim and a mu'min. Because in this small difference lies the answer on how to live life. Am I doing it right or wrong? We see that when we talk about a Muslim, scholars, the Quran, the Ahadith talk about someone that's a Muslim that does something with his tongue. All he does is speak. He says the Shahada, he says everything about God, that he loves God. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, ashhadu anna Aliyan waliyullah. But it's not yet in his heart. He hasn't yet accepted it. And if we were to go deeper and think about this difference, we first need to realize, just because you say the Shahada, or just because you say you believe in God, you're not yet classed as a mu'min of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is this something from me? No. I see in the Quran in Surah 49 verse 14, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us a very important story of when the Bedouins came to the Prophet and said, Ya Rasulullah amanna, O Prophet, we have believed in your message. So then Allah tells the Prophet to reply, no, you haven't yet believed. Why? Because Iman is yet to be accepted in your heart. So then I see again when reading this that wait, for me to be classed as a believer of Allah, a mu'min of Allah, I need to have something called Iman. But what is Iman? So when I went and asked, I saw 9 times out of 10, the reply I get of what Iman is that it is faith. But I want to be real to myself, and if I want to deep what I'm listening to, I first see, wait, if someone comes to me and says, Yasser, you don't have faith, by the way, you're not a believer, I tell him why. He tells me faith is not yet in your heart. Okay, what do I do now? What am I going to do with that information? Faith is not in my heart. What do I fix about myself to get faith? So that's why today I took time out of the day to look and see, wait, what is Iman? Because if someone tells me you don't have faith, I didn't really learn anything. I'm not understanding nothing. So I saw that Iman is real. Iman is something I need to apply, but what is it? And I see that Iman equals doing your wajibat and staying away from your muharramat. Simple, very simple. Do your wajib, do what Allah ordered you to do, and don't do what Allah ordered you not to do. Simple. So now if someone told me you don't have Iman, and I know what Iman means, I know what it actually does and what it is, I now understand, okay, I'm not a believer, I'm not a mu'min, because I haven't done my wajibat and I haven't done my muharramat. Some of you now think, okay, but what's that got to do with anything? Why do I need to know what Iman is? Because even now, today, we're all here to mourn, remember the tragedies that befell Ummul Baneen, salamullah alayha. And in default, when talking about Ummul Baneen, you have to remember and talk about her beloved Hussain, salamullah alayh. But how many of us have heard the hadith where Imam Hussain, salamullah alayh, says that there is not a single mu'min but that he cries for me? Again, in this one hadith, a word was used, mu'min. There's not a single believer that doesn't cry for me. So even when we want to have a true connection and remember Imam Hussain, we need something called Iman. Because if we don't have it, I'm not a mu'min. Then my connection, all the stuff I do in the name of Imam Hussain goes to waste. So it's important. And we said Iman is what? Doing your wajib, staying away from your muharram. Staying away from your haram. Okay, what else now? Let's go deeper. What does it mean? How do I apply it? We see that when you apply Iman to your life, Iman comes with something called Ruhul Iman, the spirit of Iman. Okay, again, what is the spirit of Iman? Why am I talking about it? I see that the beautiful thing about Iman is that we have control over it. It's not something gifted to you. It's not something you pray for. No, it's something you apply and something you protect. Because if you do your wajib and not do your muharramat, you now are a believer, but now you need to protect that. Not Allah protects it for you, because it's your choice. Are you going to believe in Allah or not? It's your choice. That's the whole test that we're here for. Are we actually going to believe in Allah or not? Then we see that Ruh al-Iman is something that if I don't do my wajib, I leave salah, I don't respect my parents, I don't do anything that's wajib, and I do my haram, that it leaves me. يخرج من الإنسان, it leaves me. And if Ruh al-Iman leaves, then what? My Iman leaves. If my Iman leaves, I'm not a believer anymore. So it's important. And the question comes, what is Ruh al-Iman? The same question was asked to Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. And Imam al-Sadiq says, لا يثبت له الإيمان إلا بالعمل والعمل منه. That faith, Iman, is not established for no one except through action. And that this action is from the believer himself. And he has complete control over it. You didn't do it out of fate or you prayed for it. No. You done this good act, you done your wajib, is because you had control over it. You done it from your heart because you knew that this action, Allah ordered you to do it. But let's say I don't listen to Iman. Unfortunately, all of us sometimes don't listen to Ruh al-Iman. What is Ruh al-Iman? Imam Sadiq answers. Same question asked to him. The Imam says that Ruh al-Iman is something that's when you're about to commit a ma'siyah, you're about to commit a sin, a voice from within starts to talk to you and says, oh Yasser, calm down. What you're about to do is not something that will please Allah. It's not something that Allah ordered you to do. Rather, it's something Allah ordered you not to do. So it's a voice that reminds you, it protects you. So in doing so, what did I say before? That you have to protect Iman, because you have to control it. You have to choose to be a believer of Allah. Same thing with Ruh al-Iman. You protect it, it protects you from committing further sins, because it will always be that as a reminder to tell you, wait, what you're about to do isn't something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to do. But khair, let's say we don't remember this voice, we don't listen to it, and we carry on doing haram, and we don't do our wajib. This Ruh al-Iman, this Iman leaves you. And it applies to every muharramat that we commit. Every haram you commit, this applies to. But where it's a big picture for us is if you leave your wajib. And the wajib that I want to talk about is one of the most important wajib, if not the most important wajib, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered me to do, which was salah, prayer. And unfortunately I see, I'm one of them, it's okay. It's not like I'm talking about you and that I'm better than you. No, it's advice to myself that we are a community that doesn't look at salah as a big thing. And we're getting slowly used to someone coming to me and saying, Yasser, by the way, I don't pray. Let's walk to salah. You go pray, I'll wait for you in the car. You go pray, I'm going to go watch a YouTube video. Why don't you pray? Why are we undermining the fact that this person is saying, I'm not going to do what Allah ordered me to do, and you do it, I'll wait for you. Why? Because then now you are not a believer of Allah. You are not a mu'min. Every Quranic verse where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the promises, the success that He gives the mu'min, you are not one of them. Why? Because you couldn't leave 5 minutes out of your day to quickly pray, then go back to your activity. There's a football match. Go pray, come back. You won't have missed anything. I promise you. 90 minutes of football matches. Go pray, 3 minutes, come back. You haven't missed a thing. But then I see that talking to you or talking to me in such a manner where we just say the haram, the punishment, you're going to go Jahannam, whatever, it's not worth it. Because why are you going to do an act out of fear? understand the love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has for you. Understand the importance of salah, because salah itself is something that Allah gifted to us because it will protect you one day. It will act as a barrier, as a protector from committing other sins. And this is one of the philosophies why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us salah in the first place. And we see that because Allah gave us this salah to protect me, I now have to choose out of my own free will. What did I say at the start? The cause of our own actions. I need to now decide to pray. It's time for salah, I need to pray. And how sad is it for someone that's far away from salah? Because the true punishment, the true bad thing that comes from you not praying isn't just hell. No. I heard one of the scholars say in a lecture once that the true punishment isn't just hell. The real punishment of you not praying is actually you not praying. You being disconnected from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from your creator. Missing out on this amazing opportunity where you have a one-to-one meeting, a private appointment with the King of all kings. And you come and you can talk to him, tell him your problems, and see one by one, Allah does a checklist of him fixing these issues for you. But you decide not to go to it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, tells us in the Hadith, through the Ahlul Bayt, that He does not need you. Allah says, I do not need you. I am the King of kings. But I see you, O Abid. I see you, O my slave. You're in need of me. You need help. You're upset. Come to me. You want money, you want success, you want to pass your exams, you want to be good in your career, you want a good marriage, you want a good son, a good daughter. Come to me. Connect to me and I'll connect you to infinity. That you want this thing from me, I'll give it to you. But you have to first come to me and be consistent with you coming to these appointments. 5 times a day Allah calls you. 5 times a day Allah tells you, come to me. But instead of answering and talking to him, we reject it. We've undermined Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? And how sad is it that even when someone reminds you of this iman, that you are not yet a believer because you've left your wajib, you still say no to it. You still say, I won't pray. I'm not ready. Many people come and say to me when I try to tell them, why don't you pray, Habibi? Why don't you do it? They have this excuse in their head, this mindset that I've accumulated too many sins. Every day I'm doing haram. Salat al-Dhuhr, let's say, is at 12. At 11:55, I committed a ma'asiyah. I did something haram. I'm going to pray at 12, I'll finish at 12:05. 12:06, I'll do a haram. Straight away. So what's the point of praying? I'm embarrassed to stand in front of Allah. I don't know what to do because I'm going to pray, act like I'm religious, but then 2 minutes later, I'm going to do a haram. That's wrong. Straight away, I'll tell someone, you're thinking that you're talking to a human, someone that has the same feelings as you, someone that has the same thought process as you. But no, you're talking to the Creator, to the King of creations. You're talking to someone that says, Ana arhamar rahimin. I have mercy you can't even imagine. Just come to me and I'll forgive. You know, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq salamullah alayhi tells us something very, very important. That in his final time, just before death, just before he goes back to his creator, when everyone is around him waiting for his last piece of advice, they have a pen and paper, waiting to see what Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq will say. What does the Imam use this opportunity to say? Does he say, come love me, love my Ahlul Bayt, love my forefathers, love Allah? No. He says, verily, our intercession does not reach those that take their salah lightly. Even in this one hadith, the Imam doesn't take time to talk about someone that's left salah. No, they're on a different wavelength. Their punishment, their excuse is something different on a whole other scale, whole other level. But the ones that take it lightly, the ones that see 12 o'clock, the Salat al-Dhuhr, I'm a bit busy, I'm a bit tired, I just woke up. I'll pray at 4. I'll pray right before it's qadha. I still have wudu, I'll pray Maghrib. 2 in 1 deal. But why? Why do you late in your salah? Because again, you're telling God who's calling you, come talk to me. You say, wait, I'm busy. I'll come to you later. Where I can do both prayers, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, and I'll get out of the way and then I'm free for the rest of the day. Allah doesn't want you to come because He needs you. He wants you to talk to Him, to talk to about your problems so that He can show you that the only one that can solve it is Him. It's not these online stars and influencers that you go to asking, how do you live life? How many people go on YouTube, search someone, influencers, morning routine, their day routine, their 9 to 5 routine, and then start following it, saying, okay, this is how I'm going to live my life. But at the start of my lecture, I said something very important, where I said, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِي هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. That the successful ones, you want success? You want rizq? You want money? You want to do good in your exams? You want success? Allah tells you a promise. He tells you a prophecy. You want success? The successful ones are the believers who offer their salah in full submission. That their ego, their arrogance, that I am Yasser, Al-Hilfi, I'm going to give a youth lecture today, I'm better than everyone. When I go to salah, that ego eradicates, it goes. I am nothing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, another philosophy of why salah was given, to remove this arrogance from your heart. So if you want success, why don't we listen to what Allah tells us? You want success? Pray. You want success? You need iman, a true connection to your iman, faith, so that you succeed in this world. Again, at the start of my lecture, I said something else, that I want to talk about the cause of our actions. What did I mean by that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran in Surah 42, chapter 42, verse 30, He says to us, every affliction that you go through is because of your own actions. Don't go around blaming X, Y, Z. Ya Allah, why did you do this to me? No. Every time Allah gave you the choice, this power of choice, that's, listen, it's time for salah, turn back to me, you said no. Every time He gave you the opportunity to come and ask for forgiveness and turn back to Him, you, with your own free will, said no and turned your face away from Him. Every time He gave you that opportunity to get halal rizq, He gave you an opportunity. It might have not as been as good as you're wishing for it to be. You turned your face and said no. That was your choice. So now you're seeing the repercussions of your own actions. That's why I said, لا يثبت له الإيمان إلا بالعمل والعمل منه. That faith is not established. Iman does not stay with you except through action. And this action of yours has to be you doing your wajib and staying away from your haram. Easy as. You want to do good in this life, you want to know your morning routine, you want to know how this guy got rich. Before you go there, first know how to please Allah. He's the one that's going to give you the rizq you want. How many of you here want to get married, but you say to yourself, nah, I don't have rizq, I don't have money. You are the same person that wants to get married, but you don't pray, you don't talk to God, you have no true connection with your Creator, but at the same time you say, I want money, أحتاج rizq, I need rizq. It doesn't work like that. It works through action. Go and pray your salah. Go and do khidmah. Do a sort of service. Have a connection with your Lord. And why did I say all of this today when we're talking about Ummul Baneen salamullah alayha? Because what better example can I give to you right now of someone that understood what Iman was better than Ummul Baneen? She's not someone that's infallible, that's a ma'soom. But she understood what Iman was, that I need to be a mu'minah, I need to be a believer of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And she saw the only way that I can have Iman is doing my wajibat, staying away from haram. One of her wajibs is what? To serve her Imam, to please Allah. How does she please Allah? By serving the wasila of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if everything I said today didn't hit, nothing good, it came in one ear, went out the other, I ask you one question, just one, to just listen to this last point I have for you. That every Muharram that I've taken part of, that I remember, from my young age till now, I always see this hadith getting shared like wildfire, where it's attributed to the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he says, for the killing of my grandson Hussain, there is a burning flame in the hearts of every believer that shall never fade away. Side point for this hadith again, Rasulullah didn't say in the heart of the Muslimun. He said in the heart of the mu'minun, the heart of the believer. And I have no doubt that everyone sitting here has this burning flame. But even though you have this burning flame, you want a true connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you want a true connection with your Imam to serve Imam Hussain correctly, you need to have Iman and you need to have a connection with Allah. You want an example how to do that? Look at the Ahlul Bayt. Don't go on YouTube and online. Go to the Ahlul Bayt who lived life the best way they could. Go to people like Baneen that saw her Imam and said, I'm going to dedicate this life of mine to serve Allah. How do I serve Allah? Through his wasila, through his chosen one that puts me on a fast track to him. That I serve Imam Hussain. In serving Imam Hussain, I get closer to Allah. And that's how Baneen reached success, reached the level that she is at now. How? Because she applied Iman to her life. So that's all I wanted to say. Let's try to ponder over these words of what Iman is, how to live life, and actually take responsibility for our own actions. That if you're not going to do your wajib, there's no one to be blamed other than yourself. And with that, Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.